Hi, this is Majinoni, and welcome to another edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Disappointing. This was a rather difficult week for me, because I couldn't quite decide what was the good and the good for the week. So I came up with a tie, and that is a tie between Uncanny Avengers and Batman. Now here's the deal with this. The Batman story was really well done, in the sense that, Batman's finally coming back, he's laying his plans to fight against the Joker, and this is where we're seeing Batman and Commissioner Gordon work together for I guess you can say where they're starting to really build the trust and their friendship together to help save Gotham. So for that part was what I really was waiting for a long time for that. Now, the dialogue between Batman and the Joker was also pretty decent too, where Batman goes to meet the Joker and he has to stall for time. So he tells him like a riddle, but the riddle's more of a story and the Joker just has nothing of it, drops him into the pit, and lets loose the lions. So, overall this was a decent read. I enjoyed it. But to me, this wasn't like a complete standout, like amazing book. But it was very solid. And that's the same thing that I can say about Uncanny Avengers. It was a good book, but it's one of those books that never really elevated it higher than, just good. Now, with this one here, what I really enjoy is we're starting to see some action between Kang and his group of misfit heroes that he gathered from the different time streams to combat the mutant menace, or, the servants of Apocalypse, so to speak. And you get to see some people switching sides on this, some character death, which is really good. Like Magneto gets rid of a certain armored individual, which I thought was like a really good scene. You have Wolverine just not taking any BS any longer, and he takes out his son, and again for the second time. And Sunfire also had a predominant role at the end. And in this issue here, it's basically setting it up where they send people to the past to try to fix the problem, where the events of history went off course. But anyways, I really enjoyed both of these books, and that's why they're both at a tie. Now for the bad. Well, let's put it this way. Deadpool number 29 was the bad. Now, for all you Deadpool fans out there, just hold on one second. I'm not saying the book itself was the bad. What I'm saying is the crossover was the bad. Here's the deal. What you have is Deadpool. He's got his woman now. He's got to face the vampire menace. All that part's fine. He goes to S.H.I.E.L.D. for help. All that part's good. There's some funny moments throughout the entire thing. And then somebody goes, whoa, oh crap, wait a second. We have to do this Deadpool crossover with Original Sin, so they throw in a few pages to cover that, and it goes right back to the story. And I'm like, that to me wasn't that impactful. Now, granted, maybe that was a little bit more impactful to the more serious Deadpool fans, but I was really looking for something a little bit more. Now, his Original Sin does deal with who he, like his family. So in one sense, I guess you can say that is an interesting tidbit, but to me it's not a sin, like what's supposedly going to be happening with Bruce and Tony. That is something that I would consider a more impactful part. Of course, they'll probably spin it off into here's his new character, blah 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 blah. But anyways, that's besides the point. I just thought that the crossover part was bad, and I just kind of wish that this one I didn't buy. Now for the disappointing. Oh, pain. I've never experienced such pain as I read through this book. Okay, this is what we have here. We have some really... Okay, the art is average, but as the book started to progress further, I was just trying to go, man, that does not look like Venom. And once I started to think that doesn't really look like Venom, then I started to think, man, this looks like a really badly illustrated book. And once I started to think it's a badly illustrated book, then it sent me on that downward spiral of, this is pretty... The story itself was really starting to bore me. You had the Guardians, they're all, spread out. If you remember from the previous issue, they were beaten, and they're spread out. So now, we're waiting for Captain Marvel to come and save the day. And I'm just kind of like, who cares? I hate Captain Marvel to begin with. I don't think she's that great of a character. And then you put her into this team of heroes because Marvel doesn't think that they're going to sell without Venom and Captain Marvel in it. And I'm just like, please, just end this thing, please. Driving me crazy. They need to get a better team. Now, this is not one of Bendis' strongest books. His stronger books are with the X-Men, and this was just a true disappointment. It didn't even feel like this was written by Bendis. Maybe somebody else wrote it and Bendis put his name on there, or maybe they've got somebody whose name is Bendis, so this way they can cover up the fact that this book was really truly a disappointment. And this is like this. I can tell you this much: if I wasn't such a Guardians fan, this is one of those books that I would consider dropping after reading this. That's how bad I felt reading this. Anyways, there's my good and the bad and the disappointing. Let me know what you guys thought was the good and the bad and disappointment of your week, and share. I'll have more reviews later. Facebook, Crunchyroll, Anime Reviews right down there, and more later.